Good evening, and my name is Jason Crawford, and this is my introduction for our midterm course. I'd like to introduce myself. I currently serve in the Elk Valley School System in Southeast Kansas. A little bit about myself. Um, I currently have almost 16 years in education. I'll be finishing up this year. I've served in a variety of roles, from a marketing business educator to an adjunct instructor in several universities. Also, have worked in many different nonprofits, from marketing, business, consulting, and even in the nonprofit and in religious arenas. I did a lot of work supporting their efforts in redesign and kind of organizational change and culture. Originally grew up in Northeast Kansas from a small town outside Topeka and Lawrence. Currently um, serving, as I said earlier, in Southeast Kansas, but still have the small town roots, as many of us seem to have in the course. Proud family of four. I have two sons. Oldest is 13, and my youngest will soon turn 10. And in our free time, we love to travel and everything travel and family and working and volunteering in several of our organizations. Our family is real committed to lifelong learning about new cultures. We've also had the opportunity to host many exchange students over the years, and that's something that we really enjoy and that we keep in contact with a lot over the years. And so that kind of drives a lot of our travel and moving and kind of going out to just to kind of see the world and instill those principles in our children as well, to kind of get them out of the realms of being kind of aware of the world in itself and not just what they see maybe in the county that they live in currently. A little bit more. I serve, as I mentioned earlier, on several nonprofit groups as well. I'm currently wrapping up a big fundraiser that a group of our frequent flyers with Delta put on every year. They raised over $1 million last weekend at the American Cancer Society Hope Ball. We get to volunteer and provide different unique behind the scenes opportunities where we bid on live auctions and silent auctions, and we also get to travel around all month, basically raising money on aircraft from passengers to help with supporting the American Cancer Society. So October is usually a really busy month for me. My weekends seem to be taken up, and tomorrow I'm actually getting ready to hop on a flight. Well, actually Friday, actually after school, to go down to Central America and back, and we're hoping to raise another couple $1,000s with some of our partner organizations down there and our groups of Central America-based diamonds. A little bit more about my professional experience. Before I came into public education, I worked, as I said, a lot of nonprofit corporate marketing. I used to run in my own marketing and radio and broadcasting company for several years out of Topeka. Currently in the middle of my PhD in economics at VSC University in Prague. It's an English program that basically looks at economics and just kind of the international perspective. I love the European model of higher education. It's not driven as much on your sponsoring professor, but more on getting a lot of freedom to kind of explore the areas of research. So that those are the areas that I'm working on right now. Kind of the a logarithm on the cross-cultural loss of kind of group speak, so to speak. So that's what the focus of my dissertation is, and basically the economic impact on those business decisions that happen across cultures, across language barriers, and actually trying to come up with a formula to figure out what those costs should be figured in when they are negotiating contracts abroad. So a little bit about that, but currently I've also had the pleasure of serving in a 6A, 3A, and now in a 1A district, all very unique and have their own challenges and a lot of their unique features to themselves too that make each environment very unique to itself. I love the family aspect of serving in a 1A district. It's very much a holistic approach to supporting children. But again, our resources are very thin, and so it makes it very difficult for us to be able to provide the layers of support, especially for children that many times have more needs than just learning disabilities, but issues of just basic safety and security and having access to resources, food, and just a safe place to stay every evening. Also served for many years as a volunteer foreign exchange coordinator. Our family also hosted 26 students over the years in 14 countries across the world, and so we've really enjoyed that as well. I've taught business economics, marketing, led several clubs as well in the high school like DECA and FBLA, and currently working on agriculture redesign and MTSS school improvement coordinator to help us redefine our mission and purpose for our school as we are facing declining enrollment and then just the overall economy declining in Southeast Kansas. Also, one of the major challenges we have is this access to internet and those types of resources for students outside of school. They do not have access to that. The majority of our kids, with Wi-Fi costing about $105 a month, makes that very impractical for most. So it's really unique here. You'll drive down after school and you'll see a lot of the kids on their personal devices hovering around the public library. That'll probably change here as we get our first hard freeze, but then they'll be sitting in their cars, and basically that's how they pour out to the rest of the world after they leave school. So that's very unique. I've never seen that anywhere else that I've served. A lot of the influences is just the reliable access, developing a culture and helping students really understand, what those needs are, and having access to the tools to create, but also for them to really start understanding what that experience should look like, and developing and fostering a culture of embracing technology to support their learning. Some other things, my personal critique, I like to be kind of the influencer and kind of lead the charge. I have a staff that's very veteran staff that I work with, and so it makes it sometimes very challenging with them to actually accept and integrate that when it's just easier to do status quo. But one fun fact, 88% this year of our students are identified on free or reduced, so that kind of gives you a very inside perspective of what we're working with. We have great kids here. They just have a very lack of access to resources and community services. And so, of course, that really impacts the vision of the school and how we best support student needs. Finally, as we look at and we approach, I feel like, our main goal and our job for bringing technology to the forefront for our students is basically developing that trust and relationship with students. Without that, we don't have any access to them. They don't have any kind of a perspective or a starting point to understand what the needs are of students and how that would impact their world when they're not using besides their phones, they're not using really outside of school. So they're not able to go home and log on the Wi-Fi readily, and a lot of them don't even have cell plans that they can maintain here. It's actually we have one of the few dead spots in the state where if you're on AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile, you will not get service in a 30-mile radius from here. So just put that in a little perspective for you as well. But again, our staff really feels like, that trust and creating the experience is kind of the core to what we're doing with technology. A favorite quote of mine is from Albert Einstein: "Education is what remains after one's forgotten what one has learned in school." So again, those experiences, if any of you went to KSDE conference this past week, it was very reiterated by Dr. Watson that this is, experiences far outweigh, content knowledge. And we're seeing a major shift in what we're doing with several of the redesign projects across the state to move away from those traditional competencies dealing with just content knowledge, but actually how we prepare students for through 21st century skills and beyond. For us, our vision and plan is just basically integrating that experience and helping not only our students but all of our staff and key stakeholders in using technology to support that learning experience and being accountable to that, and to also ensure that they continue to find opportunities to learn. Funding will always continue. With our declining enrollment, we have to do a lot more with less, so we're very careful on how we choose resources and the hardware to support that, and in adapting that. So we're constantly looking at free resources. We are currently a Google School, and and we use all those collaborative tools, and a lot of our focus and training is going to that, because the hardware is supplied there already, but that can also make it a lot more seamless and uniform for students moving between multiple hardware platforms. Finally, beyond funding, staffing and then access to capital to maintain the infrastructure is probably our primary concern, and is the thing. Our internet bill, even outside of getting some of our federal dollars to reimburse that, we spend almost $6,000 a month just to bring in enough internet to provide the 120 devices or so that we support one-to-one in the classroom. But for me, that's all I have. I wish everyone a great semester, and I look forward to seeing everyone else's video.